Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. 875 is our solve count. I can't believe I've been playing this game for 60 hours. It's remarkable. Right. We'll be just kind of knocking around the castle gates. I suppose I was. Non-boxy size separation area number difficulty 5. That's a good as place to start as anywhere, I suppose. Okay, my very first thought, it's non-boxy, so all of these must protrude all the way out and pick up something else so that it can be at least 4 long. That's going to be a line. This has to get picked up by one of these. This has to get picked up by one of these. This has to get picked up by one of these. This has to get picked up by one of these. So that's certainly a start. Neighboring regions must have different areas. So this can't do this. Because if it does, it makes 4. And then these are going to be part of a 4, and they can't do that. But here's where my thoughts continue from that. If this goes to here, this is still a 4. And that can't be. This can't go to here. So what I'm hypothesizing is going to happen is that's all going to join together as one big group on that side. It's 7 big, so it can't pick up the 5 and it can't pick up the 4s, but it can't exist in any other way there, I believe. This 3 has to pick up this, because if it were this, that's fine. If it were this, that gets left as a 1. That can't be a 4, and a 4 could be a 5 there. That could happen. Okay. So maybe my thoughts on this 3 aren't as concrete as initially thought. But it's definitely picking up this as part of its 3. Is there ever a world where these 2 4s aren't part of the same area? Well, let's imagine this is the 4. This has to get out to somewhere without being a 4. That leaves that touching there. That leaves that touching there. Let's imagine this is the 4. That can't go to there. That has to come out to there. In every version of this, I believe these 2 end up being part of the same group. Now there's something interesting going on with these 5s, though I can't quite get the point out verbally. These 5s, I believe, have to be the same, because this one can't get past this one. So we end up... Let's use some different colours here. We end up with these being blue together. And these are together. Right, okay. This tile can't be part of the 5, because if this is part of the 5, it's touching that, that has to go all the way to there, this guy can't get out. So, can't be part of the 4, because that's boxy. So this is going to take the 3, that's going to be a line, and the 3 is going to pick up one of these. This 5 can't do that because it's touching a 5. So this 5 has to go to here. That 5 has to get out of there. Could take this on reflection. So that's something to think about. No, no, it can't. Yes, it could. That could take that and become a 5, and then that could be a non-boxy 4. So there's, like, some ambiguity here. Welcome to my new symbol for ambiguity. This can't be a 1, so that 4 has to collect it. That means the 3 is going that way. That means this has to join up with the 5s. Let's keep it blue. So that's going to go out to there. So far, so happy. That means I think that is going to end up being this 3, according to what I did for this 5. Neighboring regions must have different areas. Okay, so... Well, this 5 can't touch that, because that 5 is there. This can't be a 1, and it can't be boxy. It's going to have to go to at least there. So that's the 5, that's the 4, that's the 4. That's the 4, and then that makes a long piece to break up these 4s without becoming a 5. That went wonderfully. I stepped away for a second and then saw this 5 pattern that I came back to, and that went great. What else do we have around here? Another 5? Oh my god. That must do that. Does that mean that must do that? I think it does. Yeah. What else do we know? That's going to come out to there. Those are going to come out to there. That does that. That comes out to there. That comes out to there. Range 4 to 5. Non-boxy Palisades. Okay. Range 4 to 5 is really interesting. So that means this can't pick up that. Right, I know like a bunch of this stuff has to be true, but I'm gonna start with one like space at a time. So let's look at this. It's non-boxy, so this can't be a 1. So that has to pick that up. And then this is going to have to pick up 1 of this or this. Because it can't be boxy as a 4. It's going to pick up one of those. So that's a nice start. This can't pick up that because it can't do this. So that gets a line. That goes out to there. This could be a 4, as is. It might be a 5. Don't know yet. I'm wondering about these. Because obviously that's... Oh, that's boxy. Oh. It's going to be weird in a minute, I think. Right, this has to come out. can't do that because that's boxy. In fact, we can't do this because that's boxy and that can't join there. So that must come out to here. This must pick that up. That's going to have a line. I think the same thing is going to be true on this corner. That has to come out. That can't be boxy. So that has to pick up that, and that has to come out to there. All right, we're getting a bunch of little threads so far, which is nice. Where's the next one? I think this guy can't do this. Because then... no, it could. It could do that, and that would be a valid shape. Okay. If this has this line, that is going to pick that up. This can't pick that up. Oh no, it could. It could, because that could go that way. Yeah, I forget that these could do, like, something like this. I wonder if it might have to. Because it can't be that big. It can't be boxy. But pieces running through these have to be at least 3 long. Which would result in this or its inverse happening. Except, did we just decide the inverse can't happen? Because if this comes out here and goes over to there, that's too big. Ergo, that has to go there. That goes there. That goes there. And that goes there. Somebody is going to pick this up because it can't be boxy in the center. But I'm reasonably happy with the potential of this logic right now. Now, this can't pick up that, because that can't be a horseshoe at the end. So I think this is going to have to pick up those, and that's going to become a 5. Fine with that. That means this has to pick that up, because otherwise that's boxy. That means this picks that up, because otherwise that's boxy. And once again, if this is all currently correct and true, I'm very happy about it. This, I believe, has to make that shape. Because if we did the inverse, that gets left over there on its own. So that has to do that. Can't be a 4. Picks up that. That goes out that way. Possibly out this way. Except it can't go out that way, because then this ends up as a 3 and can't grow. So that's a 4. That's a 4. That's a 4 or maybe a 5. But all of this is looking great. That's not going to join that together. Where next? There can't be too many options left for what is going to happen, I imagine. Like, that looks like it has to go that way, but that's kind of half an assumption. Yeah, that could still exist. hypothetically. And then that would go there, and that would go there. Let's just see if we can round this out, shall we? How do I finish you? Can't do that as a 3. Alright, so not that. If you were dead end that way, couldn't go that way, couldn't go that way, you couldn't go that way. If you were a dead end like that, that can't fill that up. That could fill that up, but you can't take that either. So I think that means that this has to be a region. That makes that 4, that 4, that 4. There it is. Lovely. Not bad for a 5. (42 of 48 in the region. There's a 7 in there. There was a few down here that I think I looked at and went, oh god. Okay, well, match is super interesting in a region so big. Solitude helps kind of confine the size of some things, because that has to do that and this, which means that has to do that and that. And it's beginning to look like it might be an L. Now, let's just do some math real quick. Excuse you. 108. And let me guess, it's going to divide by 9 to make 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. What's 108 divided by 18? It's not 5, is it? No, it can't be 5. 108 divided by 18 is 6. Interesting. So we have a fairly limited number of potential shapes. Given that we must do this. That must get out. And we have to make up to 6. Could be this. Is it ever that? T with a jaunt? No. Can't do that T with a jaunt up there. I don't like these greens. So we have to have a corner, and we have to have 3 long. But it has to terminate in somewhere. This can't do that because that's only 3. So this does have to pick this up. Does that make this shape? Does that have to be? Solitude? Each region contains a single symbol. Match, all regions are the same. Palisade shows the shape borders. We did the math for 6. This is 6. So we've got an L with 2 sticking out the center. So that would be this. I think we're onto something. So, how are we going to get those? That's going to there, at least. And then it has to take on the T plus 1. I just don't know which one it is yet. Yeah, it is a T with a nub in, or an L with 2 sticking out the side of it. That's going to have to be the nub in. That goes that way. Is it that way? Then that has to go like that. Because that goes that way. That does that. I'm struggling to keep this shape straight in my head. I can't do 2 up there. Hold on. How are we going to get this shape into the corner? It's going to be that. I'm going to sneeze. That has to be the hook. Is it? No. It has to be this shape. I just have to keep working on my brain rotating it round in the various ways it can go. That has to go that way. Oh, is it that? There it is. So that has to do this. It can't go down 2. How do I do that? Oh, is it that? There it is. Okay, how do I do a dead end here? Is it that? God, my brain can't do this shape. That. 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 That one wasn't bad at all. It looked terrifying, like, off the get-go, but it really wasn't bad. Right, I drew this line just by accident recently. So, we have range 6 to 9, Palisades and rose windows. There are 7 windows. There are 54 tiles. Everyone gets 1 tile apiece. We can start with some things that we know. For example, that and that. That's going to come out to there. That's parallel along there. That comes out to there. If this must exist, then that must be the way that gets out. Range 6 to 9. What's 54 divided by 7? You get 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 54. So it's 8, but we know it's range 6 to 9. Is there, like, actually no way we could have any 6s? 9, 18, 27, 36, or 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. No, we could. There is like a little flexibility in it, I think. I think this guy has to have that, right? No, that's not true. It could do it that way. It's one of those. Some part of my brain keeps expecting it to be a match rule, but that is not in play at all. Well, this here has to get to at least 6. If we were to come around here and pick this up, that is 7. It's actually feasible, because then you could pick up that as your rose tile. Then that would have to go that way. You'd have to pick up that as your rose tile. That would become an 8 there. Now, how confident am I in any of this? Is a great question, because right now, confidence is low. How does this region ever get to a flower? Can't go that way. I guess you could do that, and then you could take this one. That's a 9, a 7, a 6. But, like, I don't feel super great about what I've built so far here. That has to do this. How is this going to get to a rose? I mean, it could do that. But I worry we've got too many big ones now. I'm going to concede. There is way too much colouring involved in this. And it's all going to go wrong very soon. Because, like, this can't pick that up, and that can't pick that up. I guess you can pick that up. Wow. I'm shocked that that went so smoothly. I'll take it, though. I will always take it. 4 more. 1 in the tower there. Where are the others in this zone hiding? Oh, there's you there. A 2? Non-boxy match. 30. 6 or 5. I think. Those have to touch. Because there's no way we can... It could be... Is there ever a world where it could be a 3? I don't think so, because of how this exists. So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. There's a hypothetical where it's 10. It's not 4. That's for sure. Right, it's a level 2 puzzle. It shouldn't be too bad. Can't be that, because that can't get out. Can't be Big T. Non-boxy, match difficulty 2. A shape that is probably either 5 or 6 that gets out of all of this. So there it is. The confinedness of this corner is what helped me get there. Oh, you again. So it's 45 or 48. There's this one, and this 6. 4 to 6 Solitude Palisade. Each region contains a single symbol. Range 4 to 6. Well, this is going to have to do something like that. I was wondering about what tile is like most far removed from a piece, because each region contains a single symbol, so I can't have a region like this. Therefore, at range 4 to 6, this tile must either get to them, or get to them, or get to them. And that's true of like every tile has to get to somebody. So like if this does this, and that did that, who gets this tile? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then this can't exist. It is a difficulty 6 puzzle, so I should expect to have to work for our opening into the puzzle. But I honestly don't hate this query. Like, if that's true, then that's true. Then that's true. That means that this piece can't go to there, can't go to there, would have to pick this up. And for that to work out, it would be too big, right? Because this needs at least 4 to make its line work correct. Therefore, I believe that this piece must go this way. And then that means that that's going that way. Then that means who does this tile get to? Well, it would have to be that for 6. Which is viable. But then who gets this tile? Right? Can't do that. Can't do that. It's throwing a spanner in my works, hasn't it? Can't go around there. Right, let me re-hypothesize this, because I really thought that was going to work out, but if that goes up, that exists. 1, 2, 3. But this has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. They can't be together. Is there any other way I'm not seeing this? Can't do that because that caps off. Can't do that. So I really think that has to be true. And therefore that's true and that's true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That looks better. So I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. This has to come out to at least 4. There's ambiguity in these. That's doing at least that, with those lines being present. Now, assuming all of that is correct, can we perform a similar trick here? That would mean this has to exist. That could go to 5. Then that would have to go around there. Can't do that. Who takes this tile? Nobody can. Did I just do the same thing twice? Give or take. If that goes that way, you can go that way instead. You probably end up doing that. You probably end up doing that, give or take. There's still room for this to grow. You need to be at least 4 on your own. Is this looking good? So close, but you can't do that. Damn. Okay, well, rethink that a bit. But this, I think, was getting towards good. That can't do that, so that has to be a line. Therefore, that has to go out to there. That has to go out to there. Does that make 6? And then that can do that. That can do that. Maybe we can now make this work. So close. It's so close. How do I make you be a terminus for something here? There it is. That's pretty good. Now, we have gone up to 40 minutes already. I don't know how we flew through those. So, there's this guy that is probably very close if I really knuckle down on it for a bit. And then this. Solitude mismatch area number. So it's all 4s and 5s. And there's 2 3s. So one of these is the straight 3, one of these is the crooked 3. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s. So that's all of the tetrominoes. And then there's this many 5s, which surely must be all the pentominoes, because they all must be different shapes. So I think I'm going to need a little pentomino chart for that. That's going to have to do at least this, but I will get into that another day. For now, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.